Paladins is an objective-based competitive shooting game that was released just a few months ago, but just yesterday it was released for free on the Nintendo Switch. I, as an Overwatch fan and a Team Fortress 2 fan, am in love with games like these. I don't play them too often anymore, but I have a deep history with them, so I was very excited to try it, and I was a little skeptical at first, to be honest, but I started playing this morning and looked at the clock, and hours had gone by because I was enjoying this game so much, and I was excited enough that I just had to share my opinion with you. So just a little warning or a precursor before I start talking about this game, but I do play a lot of Overwatch, so throughout this video I might be hearkening back to Overwatch and kind of comparing the two. I know a lot of people don't like when you just say, oh, Paladins is an Overwatch clone, but let's be honest, they're very similar, so I gotta compare the two. So the biggest part of what makes games like these fun is of course the modes that are within them. Paladins right now only has 3 of these modes available, but they're all different and unique from each other, so you're not going to get bored with just these 3 modes. The first and probably main mode here is called Siege, and it's mostly comparable to something like the payload mode that you'd see in Overwatch, except it's literally 100 times more fun and more balanced. You know, in Overwatch, you'll start with some designated attackers and some designated defenders, and you kind of just stick to your job for the whole game. But in Siege, instead of just starting as one or the other, there's actually a point in the middle of the map that you have to capture before starting the payload. So it's sort of like a mix between the payload maps and the capture the point or the king of the hill type of modes. The second mode here is also very unique. It's called Onslaught, and it's sort of a mix between a team deathmatch type of mode and a king of the hill type of mode. There's this capture point in the middle of the map, just like the siege mode, except once you capture it, you'll just start to get more points than your opponent. You're supposed to get 400 points in these matches, and of course capturing the point will help you gain those points faster, but also just killing the enemies will also factor into those 400 points. So there's sort of 2 ways to win. If you're getting a lot of kills, you're going to be winning, and also if you're keeping that point in your team's possession, you're also going to win. Then the third mode here is just that classic team deathmatch. This is exactly what you'd expect, but it's actually a lot shorter than the other two. The other 2 matches can last anywhere from like 5 to 20 minutes, whereas team deathmatch is usually going to be about 5 to 10 minutes, so that's good if you only have a couple minutes to play, or you just want to warm up by randomly shooting your enemy. Just like other objective-based 5v5 arena shooting games, whatever you want to call them, they have a bunch of different classes to choose from that you can play as, and they've separated it into 4 different categories, being a tank category, then 2 DPS categories, and of course the healing category. Rather than just like basic classes, like something you'd see in Team Fortress 2, like the engineer or whatever, they've definitely taken a page of Overwatch's success here and just chosen to design characters that have names and lore and stories behind them. I always say this on my channel, that great characters make great games, so I'm not going to say that they just directly copied Overwatch here, because I think they're just being smart and putting some personalities behind all these classes. Currently, there's just over 40 different champions available to play, which is actually quite a lot. It's not quite as much as Overwatch has right now, but this is a free game and it's only been in development for a little over a year, so I was pretty impressed by the amount of heroes. With the base game, when you just download the free version, you're only going to have about 4 characters to start with, but they also have a rotating cast of free characters that they change every week, just like League of Legends does if you've never played League of Legends. Another big criticism that I had seen of this game before playing it was that they took a lot of the Overwatch characters' ideas and just sort of reskinned them or rebranded them to make them look different, but essentially they're the same character. But I didn't find too many of those. There are a couple of these where I was like, oh, that's the McCree of Paladins, or oh, that's the Reaper of Paladins, but mostly they do stand out quite a bit, and there's actually quite a few brand new ideas that I have no idea how they would relate in Overwatch, and I think those outweigh the sort of unoriginal designs. Another big thing that sets Paladins apart from Overwatch for me is just the amount of customization options that they have for all of these heroes. There's this card system, which is basically kind of like a talent system, if you know what I mean, where there's different passive abilities that you can equip. You can have a set of 8 cards, and then there's a big pool of like 24 cards to choose from, so you can kind of customize your hero. I'm not sure if there's any like definitive builds for any of these heroes or how that plays into the balance issues and the more competitive side of Paladins, but just the customization options I thought were really cool. The last thing that I want to cover here is just the in-game store and the in-game currencies. This is a free game, so of course there's got to be some type of microtransactions in there, but I'm happy to say that this game does handle those quite well. There's 2 different in-game currencies, being gold, which is mostly the free currency. You'll gain this after every match and for most of the challenges and quests that the game provides you. And then there's the crystals, which are just the things that you pay to get. There are a few challenges that you can do weekly to gain some of these, but it's not a sizable enough amount to really buy anything. Otherwise, you'll just have to buy them with your real money. So to unlock all of the champions, I guess it's worth saying that you can unlock all of the champions with the free gold currency. So in theory, you technically could unlock every single champion in this game without paying a dime. So I think that's great just off the bat. It would take a lot of grinding and a lot of work to do that, but you can do it. So I love to be able to say that. Other than that, you can buy the 1800 crystal champion pack, which is roughly around $30, and that will leave you with a little more crystals than you need. That's about as much as the Founders Pack was, which was the early access thing that you could buy on Switch, which would unlock all the champions, and you could have played it early. Now that's passed and you can't buy the Founders Edition, but like I said, those 1800 crystals, you're gonna have to spend about $30, so it's roughly the same for all of the champions. Other than just buying the heroes, there's a bunch of cosmetic things that you can buy, such as emotes, sprays, victory poses, skins, and all of these are purely cosmetic, so you don't really need to spend money on them. Like I said, some of these you buy with gold and some you buy with crystals, and then the one thing that kind of irked me off was that some of those skins you could only get through a random loot box, which costs 300 crystals. I'd be okay with the random loot box if you could buy those skins outright, but some of them are exclusively linked to just gambling with that loot box, so I'm really not a fan of that, but otherwise, all of this seems pretty fair to me. So I'm really not lying when I say that I'm super addicted to this game. Like, I didn't even want to make this video. I would have much preferred to just play Paladins all day instead of making this. I'm super addicted. I'm almost kicking myself for not buying the Founders Edition because I do want to give all of these characters a try. They're all super unique and super fun. I actually downloaded the PC version and just because I wanted to see the graphical comparison, and it's really not a whole lot different. I have a pretty nice PC. I don't have the best graphics card, but it runs things pretty nice like Destiny 2, and it really, you can't tell a huge difference. You can tell that some of the textures were lowered on the Switch version, but it runs at 60 frames per second perfectly on the Switch. It looks great. It is really a great looking port, so if you're worried about that, please have no worry. The one thing that's preventing me from buying all of the champions right now, though, is just the fact that I won't be able to get them all on my PC account. Like I said, I just downloaded that PC version today, and now I do want to play on both sides. You know, I can play the Switch when I'm at home and don't have my PC, and here when I'm doing my videos and stuff, I can play on the computer. If I was able to carry my same account over to the Switch version, I'd definitely be buying this already, but I haven't figured out how to do that yet. I have heard that there's going to be Xbox One crossplay, but not with PC, so it kind of makes me doubtful that that'll ever happen, but we'll see what happens. I definitely want to buy all of these champions. I'm just waiting to see what happens, but let me know your thoughts on Paladins down in the comments. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe to my channel for the latest Switch content available. This has been Max from Max Culture, and thank you so much for watching.